Okay. Hello, welcome. Good evening, and welcome to this interesting class. Hello, welcome. If you can hear me, good evening. My name is Etuk, and I want to welcome you to this interactive section. And Pick Waving first to arrive. Okay, Antia, you're welcome, and then Babatunde or Modara, you're welcome. Others, you're also welcome to this class. This class is a basic introductory class into Excel, and it's designed for absolute beginners. Experienced people too can go through it and then see how they can improve their work when it comes to Excel. So in this class, we'll be looking at some key things. I will introduce you to Excel. So if you can flow with me through the class, or during the playback, you can look at the different sections and then get to see the recordings and take the key parts that you want to work with. Please, if you can hear me clearly, can you just signify? Let me know that the persons in class, you can hear me. Just say, just wave or just say, yes, you can hear me. Okay, I need at least one or two persons to just confirm that they can hear me. Okay, crystal clear. Can I thank you for that feedback? Can I say she can hear me? Crystal clear. Auntie said they can hear me. We can hear you. Okay, so very good. So let's get straight to it. We're covering three things today. We're covering formulas and then functions and formats in Excel. So I'll take you straight to my screen and we'll start with it. Okay, so I want to share my Excel screen with you. Okay, so let me start by introducing you to Excel. Now, this is my Excel environment, and so let's go. So Excel is a data manipulation software. And basically, Excel helps us to arrange data in table formats. Excel is made up of columns. So what we have here, we call these columns, and we also have these ones as rows. So we label the columns using alphabets A, B, C. These are the columns, and we also label the rows using numbers 1, 2, 3. Now, where a column meets a row is called a cell. So where this is column D, where it meets this particular row, row 6, this particular point is called a cell. And how do we name cells? So this is cell. We use the name of the column and the name of the row. So this is cell D6. And you see the name of the cell written here. You can guess if I click on column H and I click on row 12, the name of this cell, this meeting point, will be H12. And when we bring all these cells together and we put them in one place, so this is called a worksheet. So what you are looking at now is called a worksheet. For example, this is sheet 1. I can right click here and then say rename the sheet to, let's say, formulas. And I can also right click this sheet and go to tab color, and let me just give it this color red. So what will happen at this point is when we bring all these different worksheets, like this is a worksheet, this is a worksheet, this is a worksheet. When we bring all these worksheets together, we have what is called a workbook. So this is an Excel workbook, and you can simply save by going to File and then click the Save As button, and it will save for you. So this is a basic introduction into Excel, the Excel environment. So in this first part, what we looked at what is a what is a cell, what is a row, what is a column, what is a cell, the cell name, and then the worksheet. I'm moving straight to part 2 of the discussion, You can ask your questions. I'm looking at the chat, so immediately I see any question or any part, you can always call my attention and I will take it again. But the idea is you just follow along the class. The video is there. You can always go back and record and flow with me. Any part that is a challenge, call my attention and I will look back into it. Okay, so the second part we want to look at the formulas and the functions. So let's start with the simple one. How do we format our Excel environment? So I want to take the first part of the discussion and I want to talk about formulas. So we can format this and I can extend the Excel title to accommodate this. And let's say I want to use this number of columns. I can come to merge and then put it in the middle. You can change the size of the font by going to this point, let's say 10, and then hitting the background. You can also change the color of this cell. Let's say change it to dark blue, and we can also change the color of the text to white. You can also click here to change the font, and you can also place the text in the middle and do other things. These are basic formatting that you would do in Excel. Now, in writing the formulas, let's start with the first one. We want to start with the first formula. Let's start with addition. So basically, we represent addition using the plus sign. To get plus, if you hold down Shift on your keyboard and then you press equal to, it will give you the addition sign. So, sorry for that. It will give you the addition sign. It will give you the addition sign. Then, if we want to do any formula in Excel, the first thing is to start with the equal to. So any formula, any function you want to write in Excel, you must start with equal to. So I hit equals here, and first let me pick two values. Let me just pick two random values. Let me say 5 and 2. If I pick two values, 5 and 3, and if I want to add these two values, I can say equal to 5 plus 3, and I press enter. It will give me 8. While this is okay, normally in building Excel and in making your work automated, it is advisable you learn how to use the cell name instead of using the cell value. In this case, the cell value is 5, but the cell name is C3. So if we want to do this calculation, we'll use the cell name instead of the cell value. So equal to, this is on cell C3. So we say C3 plus, this one is on cells D3. So we say D3 and we press enter. It gives us 8. So using cell name is better. Another option is instead of typing the cell name, you can just click on the cell and the system will automatically pick the cell name. So I can do equal to, click on this, press the plus sign, click on this and press enter. So it gives me that. Number 2, I want to talk about subtraction. So I can do the same thing to 5 and I have 3. So I can come here and I say I want to do 5 minus 3, it will give me 2. A better way would be to do equal to, the name of this cell is C7, C7 minus D7, and it will give me 2. Or a more advanced option will be just click on this and say minus, click on this, and I will have 2 also. Okay, the third one, number 3, is where we have the divide. So the divide will represent the divide using this symbol. So if I do this for the divide, and I can do this for the minus, and I can do this for the plus, so the different symbols. So if we have 5 here, and then we have 3. So if I do equal to 5 divided by 3, the divide symbol, you get it if you press the button where you have the forward slash. So that will be the question mark button. And this will give us this number. And if we do equal to, the name of this cell is C11. If we say C11 divided by D11, it will also give us this. Or better still, we can just click the cell and we have this. We can also do what is called formatting. So if I select this cell And if we click on this button, we can reduce the number of decimal places. So number 4 is we want to talk about multiply. Multiply. So we have 5 and we have 3. So we do equal to 5. Multiply is if you hold down shift and press 8 to give you the multiply symbol, that will give you 15. Please, this screen, somebody said, please, this screen is blurry. Okay, so let me make it, this way. Okay, so let me know if this is better. Let me know if this is better. I think this should be better. Okay, so if we, please confirm, is the screen okay now? So the next one is equal to, so if I say 5, if I type the name of the cell, C15, multiplied by D15, it will give me the same 15. Or if I just click on the cell name and I click on this one, it will also give me 15. Now, this particular cell, if we return this cell and we do what is called, I did not include this in my material, but let me just add it. Okay, but this will be more of a function. So if we do the round function, okay, I'll come back to function and we do round, and we'll pick on this and we say rounding up to 1 decimal place. It will give us this, but I'll talk about round when we get to functions. So we just did multiply, divide. Okay, I'll do one more number. That should be number 5, and that should be exponentiation. Hope the spelling is correct. Yeah, exponentiation. This means, let's say we're doing, somebody say much better is clearer too. Okay, thanks for that feedback. Okay, so when we try using full screen view, you will get a better view. Okay, so exponentiation is where we try to do more like 2 raised to power 2 or 3 raised to power 3, things like that. So for the exponentiation, the button there is shift 6. So we want to do 5 exponentiation 3, that is 5 multiply 5 3 times. So we can do equal to 5 and raised to power, that is 3. And it will give us 125. We don't need this, we don't need these zeros. So we can, please confirm. Chioma said it's blood now, please. Others, please confirm if it's blood so I can look at it and see what we can do. But if it's blood, please confirm it's a network issue. I need 1 or 2 more persons to say if it's blood or not, so we know how to fix that. Okay, so the cell name there is C19. So C19 raised to power, that should be D19, and it will give us 15. Or if we do equal to this raised to power this, and if we press enter, and it will give us 125. Okay, so basically this is to introduce us to Excel. Okay, if it is blood, let me see. If it is blood, please just check the your network quality while I'm looking at this. Okay, I've tried to do this to also see the quality. So how is the quality? I thought is my network, but is general. Okay, screen is clean. Now the beautiful thing with this is later you can also do what is called playback. You can also look at how can we get the sheets. Okay, I'm using a blank based on the question. Somebody said. Okay, somebody said, I think Mr. Pascal asked the question, how can we get the sheet? I'm using a blank sheet. So you can always start with an Excel blank sheet, but I'll also drop the link in the community. I'll also drop the link in the description section. You can always download it. You have to move your image to the right so we can see the cells and the functions you're using. Okay. Um, Kene said you have to move your image to the right so we can see the cells. Okay, I've decided to take off the image. I think it's better now. Okay, not general, I can't see and hear very well. Okay, law is a network thing. Okay, so let's get going. I'll be looking at these simple additions and removing other things to help get it better. But I think it's better now. Okay, so after doing exponentiation, the next thing I want to talk about is how to fill screen. The fill option. So fill options is, for example, you want to have a series of numbers, let's say 1, 2, ordered 1, 2, 3, 4, up to like 50. Maybe you want to generate that list. Instead of typing the numbers 1, 2, and type up to the end, you can just type the first two and then drag down. Excel will automatically bring out that series for you. If you want it to be the same sequence all the way down, you can just type the first two and also drag down. Excel will give you that same sequence. And since this class is a preparation for those of us that are in the data analytics course, there's something you will always come across, which is the difference between a range and a table. And for those that bought the course, you will see that there's a part I said, please always your data should be converted from a range to a table. So let's take a sample sequence. We want to do 1, 2, 1. Let's create this sequence first. I should use this point. Let me start from here. 1, 2, and I drag this one down. And then let me bring a series. Let's say series 8, 8, and I also drag this one down. Now I want to show us the difference between working with a table and working with a range. Now this data as it is in a range. That means it's not together. One challenge with working with data like this is if you want to work on each row, you will take the rows one after the other. Imagine a situation where you have a data set, maybe an employee data set, and they have 50,000 employees. To do this calculation one at a time, one after the other will take time, even when you drag down. But when it is in table format, it is very easy. So let me show you. So let's assume we want to do equal to this multiplied by this. It gives us 8, and we simply drag down. It gives us up to 15. Now, this is one option. Now, compare this to this second option, where let's have 1 and 2. We want to drag it down. Want to drag it down to 15. And then we have 8 and 8. And we also drag this one down to 15. But in this case, we convert this to a table. So we select the entire column, and we can go to insert and then click on table. That's one option. Or we can just click Ctrl T. It will also give us a table. So if we convert this to a table, it will ask us a question. My table has headers. In this case, there is no header, so I will not check this box. But assuming there is header, I will check this box. So I say, okay, it does not have header. So at this point, if you want to do the same calculation, so equal to this multiplied by this, and we press enter. So you can see the beauty of working with table. It automates everything, and it can easily work with that value. So please always work with a table, not a range. These few parts are the things I want to show us when it comes to formulas. I want to get to the next part. I want to talk about functions. So in Excel, you can select this entire data. Okay, let me select from here. You can select this entire data and put it in a table. Bring out the table line, and we can make it bold. So let me select this second part for our second activity. Let's just select this. And this time, I just want to turn on the left line. Okay. So in this second part, what we want to do, if we want to delete any cell, we can just click on it and then press delete. Let's delete this 2. Okay. So in this section, we want to work on functions. We want to look at 15 basic functions in Excel, and we can select this. We merge this also and say center. You can click on this and click this and say format this. So what I did there, there's something called format painter in Excel, meaning if you have a design already and you want to design something similar, instead of doing everything from scratch, you can copy this format. So I click on this format that is there already, go to the format painter. This is the tool, and I come to this point and I click on it. So it will maintain the exact format. Okay, put this back in the center. Yeah. So now I want to talk about functions. And the first function we want to start with, number one, let's look at the sum function. Now in Excel, the idea of functions is for formulas, the difference between formulas and functions. Instead of doing all the formulas one at a time, with functions, Excel we have predefined formulas, functions that help us to do certain things. So if I want to add all the numbers in a particular series, instead of adding them one at a time, I can use functions to get that particular answer and other things too that we can do. So let's come to this point. Let's just generate data. Let's say this is 2, 4, and this is 5, and this is 7, and this is 8, and this is 30, let's say 12, and this is 9, and this is 10, and this should be, let's say, 7. Okay. So the sum function is used to add a series of numbers. So how it is written is equal to sum, and you press the opening bracket. The opening bracket is shift 8. And remember, whenever you open bracket in a function, you must close it at the end. So what is Excel is simply asking for is the range of numbers we want to use for this function. So if it is just these numbers, we want to get the sum of these three numbers. This is 8 plus 2 plus 5, that is 15. You can just mouse over the three of them and close the bracket and then press enter to give us 15. If it is we want to do the sum of the entire range of numbers, we can simply mouse over all of them and close the bracket. It will give us 62. So when working with a range of data, the sum function is very handy. Okay, the second function we want to work on. Somebody said okay, I'm looking at the chat. The chat, it's not clear. Blur is network. Okay, let me pause for 1 second. How many persons still have the issue of the screen being blurred? Do we still have that issue, or I should proceed? Okay, I want to zoom in this way. Is it better now, please? Can someone confirm? Is it better now if I zoom in this way? Okay, somebody said yes, and somebody said proceed. Okay. So the second function I want to look at is the average function. The average function. So we have equal to average. One easy way, setting from my side cleared it. Okay, setting from my iHack setting from my side cleared it. Okay, thank you for that feedback. Okay, so for the average function, we can take the average of these three numbers and just close the bracket. It will give us the average as 5. Then we can take the average of the entire range equal to average. So sometimes instead of typing everything, immediately you discover what you're looking for is what is selected here. You just press the tab button. It helps you to finish the arrangement and brings out the opening brackets, and you close it and then you press this. So the average of these numbers is 6.88. Okay, clear still. Mr. Maker said yes. Ekene said clear still. Ekene said proceed. Okay, thank you very much for the feedback. Okay, and the next one we want to look at, number 3. I mentioned we'll look at the round function. So equal to round, and it rounds a number in a specified number to a specified number of digits. So we can say round this to, let's say, 1 decimal place, and to give us 6.9. So that's the round function. We use it to round numbers. Then number four, we want to look at the max function. So max function is used to get the maximum. The max function is used to get the maximum of a series, a range of numbers. So if we want to do the max of these three numbers, it will give us 8. That is the highest number. And if we want to do the same thing again, let's say the max of this series, the answer should be 12, and it will give us 12. Now the beautiful thing is, if I change this number to 20, the values change automatically. That's the beautiful thing in Excel. So as a foundational concept in Excel, when working, learn to work with cell names. Learn to work with cell names, not the cell values. 20 is a cell value, 5 is a cell value. So when you work with cell names, when we change things like this, the cell automatically, the values automatically change. We don't need to write this equation again. If we come here and we change this one to, let's say, 21, you see the values change also. Everything is changing automatically. So this is what helps to add automation to Excel. Now, just like we have the max, we also have the minimum function. Now, the minimum function gives you the smallest number in a range of numbers. So if we do min, and we take this series, so the minimum there will be 5. Okay, and let me copy these numbers and paste here so that we don't keep moving the screen up and down. Okay, so then if we do min, okay, before I copy these numbers, I will just show you something that we did in the course. I'll do this back, then I'll go back to the other one. So if we do min of this range and we close it, it will give us 3. That's the minimum number. Then there's something called cell referencing. If we want to get this number to this point, and we want it such that whenever we change the number here, it will also change here, then we need to do what is called cell referencing. Let me explain. If I copy these numbers, and I paste them here, if I come to this point and I change this number, I change this one to 4, you see that this table is not updated. Remember, in the course material, we did a lot with pivot table. And pivot table, we need such that when the pivot table, when we update the pivot table, the reference table we're using should also update. So at that point, it's good to do what is called cell referencing. And to do cell referencing, so let's bring in number 6. We want to do cell ref. So to do cell reference, we have 2 types. We have absolute reference and relative. So I'm just using the basic one. So simply what we'll do, type equal to in the cell, and then click on this. So it will automatically reference this cell. If I change this one to 16, this one changes automatically. Now the beautiful thing is, instead of me bringing all of them one after the other, I can move my mouse pointer to this point here, and I can drag this to automatically reference everybody, and I can come to this point too, and I drag this one down. So I have this entire data. Now, if I change this one to, let's say, 11, let's say 12, you can see this one updates automatically. So that's what we call cell reference. Okay, number 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number 7. Number 7, we want to do what is called count. Now, count is a function in Excel used to count the numbers in a given data set. Let's say these values, let's give names here. Let's say John. I want to add one more cell here. So I just click and say insert. Okay. So I have somebody's name here. Let's say John Emeka We have Haruna, Musa, and we have Tonye Ibinabo. Okay, so these let's say first name, and this is last name. This is score in maths. This is score in English, and this is score in science. These scores, let's say they are over 20. So student performance over 20. Okay, so let's use this as a case study. Then, so if you come to this data now, so count is used to just count the number of, count how many cells we have numbers. So in this data set, we have 339 numbers. So if we do equal to count, if we want to count only numbers, if we select all of these, still it will count only the numbers. So whenever we need just information concerning how many cells contain numbers, we use the count function. Then we have another function called count A. Count A function. So the count A function is used to count the number of cells that are not empty. So it will count both numbers and text. You can use my name. Okay. Ekene said, yes, I can use her name. Okay, so I'll add Ekene's name to one of the points. Okay, so if we do count A and we pick everything here and we close it to give us 15. So what happens is counting everything. Then let's add one more name. Let's add Ekene. Ekene will be more like an Igbo name, one of the tribes in Nigeria. So let's say Ekene Chukudi. So Ekene Chukudi, and let's say 20, and the person missed one of the tests. So the person scored 15 here. So the next function we want to look at is called count blank. So count blank is used to count the number of cells that don't have any value, that are empty. So if we do count blank and we select these points, it will give us just one, meaning this particular cell that is empty. Okay, so let's proceed. From what we have learned already, we can begin to do certain things. We can do total score here for these students. Total score, then we can also do what is called we can also do average. I guess you can do this as a simple classwork and come up with an answer for this. For example, if we do total here, so the total will be what? Sum. And if we select all this and we close this, it will give us 29. This is the total for this person, and then we can bring it down up to this. So classwork, you do the average. The same way we love to format, we can select this and then format this and then put a border around it. We can select these top parts and make it bold, make it white, and make it blue, and have that formatting. Okay, so that's for counts. Number 10. Remember, after building these introductory parts, we are building a payroll software. So these are the things we will need when we start building that payroll software. So the median function is used to get the middle number. So if we bring median and we say the median of this set of numbers and we close it, so the median is 12, the middle number. Okay, count A didn't update when I added a kene. Yes, it's because of the range. So, okay, so let me do count A again. This time, let me include, this time I'll include information for that particular person. I can add an extra row here, just click insert. So let's redo the count, count A to update it equal to count A, and if we select this entire range now and close it, it updates to 19. Okay. Number 11 is how do we bring in space in Excel? So the simple way to bring in space is to do your quote space your quote, meaning type, hit the quotes button and then hit space, that is hit your space bar to create the space, and then add another quote button. It's the same way to hold any text string in Excel. You put it in a quote, Excel will understand it as a text string. So the next one we want to talk about is concatenate. So we can bring this table down. Let me show us what I did. If you select this table and then move your mouse pointer to the edge where it changes to a plus, click and hold, you can move a particular item. So we just move the table to this point. Okay, so concatenate means to join two things. The names of the students, maybe the school say they don't want to see the names as individual names, they want to see it as combined names. We can concatenate that. So we can come down here and we say equal to concat. So let's use concat, and we'll select this two and we'll close the bracket and we'll press enter. Now the thing is, it will join the two of them. So you can see we have joined Emeka and John and Emeka. If we move this down, you can see the four of them: John and Emeka, Haruna and Musa, Tony and Ibinabo, Ekene and Chukudi. If we want to put a space in between, let me say concat. If we want to put a space in between, then we need to add this space. So in that case, we'll do equal to concat, equal to concat. We get Emeka first, we put in comma, then we'll bring in the space. The space, remember, is double quotes. I hit the space bar, another double quotes, and I put another comma, and I hit Emeka. So now we have John, Emeka. So if we scroll, drag this down, we have the names separated. So that's how you can concatenate, you can combine concatenation and space. Number 13 function I want us to look at is the if statement. So the if function is used to take decisions. For example, if somebody's a male, the person's title should be Mr. If somebody is a female, the person's title should be Mrs. So we use that particular if statement to take decisions. So let's bring this. Let's say, for example, we want to look at the average here. Permit me to work with this other one. Let me create another table here. Let's call this name, and then let's call this score, and then let's call this we can call this grade. So let's say this person had 79, this person has 90, and let's give this one a 50. Let's say this is 69, and let's give this one 80. So in the school system, the assumption is if the score is 80 and is from between 80 and 100. Okay, let's make it very simple. I'll do the complex one later. We'll just do pass and fail. If score is 50 and above, give the person pass. Else, give the person fail. That means if the person score is from 0 to 49.99999, give the person fail. But if the person score is from 50 to 100, give the person pass. Let me also show you, you can do what is called wrap. You can wrap text to have this effect, or you can just merge these cells. But be careful when using merge. I'll advise you to wrap instead of using merge most times. Okay, so we have this. Now we want to add the grade here, that if the person's score is this. So let's give this one 49. Let's give this 50. Let's add one more student. I will just add this manually. Let's add Tolu Olamide. And let's give Tolu Olamide a score of 30. Okay, so we want to have the grades for this particular student. Format this to this and give it an outright bold. We'll give the heading. Blue, and let's take white. We'll make it bold and we can increase the font size. Okay, so let's start. So let's say number 13, the if statement. So we want to say if, I'll do it here. I just want to do it here first. Okay, let's bring it here at once. Drag this one down. So I want to say if the person's score, that is John Emeka, his score is 49, is greater than or equal to, the score here we're looking at is 50. What should we do? We give him pass. Remember, the pass should be in quotes. Pass. Else, so the comma is what separates everything. So the first thing after an if statement is if the value is true, if the outcome is true. Then the second thing is if the outcome is not true. Else, we put another quote again and we type fail. And we close the bracket and we press enter. So you can see 49 fail. If you drag to the next all the way down, you discover that anybody from 50 up is passed, from 90 pass, 80 pass, but 49 fail, 30 also fail. So that is what an if statement does. So it helps you to bring in condition. For example, we want to write another if statement to say if somebody is above 18, the person is eligible to vote, else the person is not eligible to vote. So we can say if age, we need to create the age first. So let's put the age as the person's age. We say send us your age. The person says this. The person says age is 18. So we say if this particular column where we have the age is greater than or equal to 18, the output is eligible to vote. Else, we just tell the person run away. So if we put this, consider as the person is 18 years, the person is eligible to vote. Let's try 28 years, eligible to vote. If the person is 17 years, you see run away as the outcome. And if the person is 10 years, you also see run away. If the person is 30 years, you see eligible to vote. Okay, we can also use conditionals too to work on the colors. In this particular area, there's something called conditional formatting in Excel. If you come to this point, you can set the colors. That certain colors should be. You can use color bars or you can use icons to say, okay, this person is okay. That's for icons. You can pick up icons to add to each of these color section you want to use. If we select this section and then we say conditional, so we can pick on those that are doing well or those that are not doing well. I'll handle this one in another class. Okay, so let's get to number 14. We have just two more before we get into the payroll proper. So number 14, let's look at okay, because of time, I would pause here, then I'll take questions. You have questions, you can put them in the group now so we can do quick corrections before we start the payroll software. The payroll application, we'll design a simple payroll. That's where we're learning all this and then we'll make use of it by designing a simple payroll application. So questions, you can drop your questions in the group, just 1 minute and then we proceed. Okay, so let's quickly look at counts. Okay, okay. Usman said, please also share data file for practice. I will include the data file at the end of the class. I will include the data file. Okay, good. So we proceed with that. Okay, so let's move on to the payroll software. We're trying to beat time. This class is a 1 hour 30 minutes class. This is 48 minutes. So I open a new sheet in Excel. To open a new sheet, just click on the plus sign and then you can start a new sheet. So we want to call this, let's do a simple payroll application. And, oh, sorry, payroll, let me just add one. I have something similar. Name, payroll one. Okay, just call it. So sometimes when in the different environments that we work, one of the beautiful things in Excel is you can apply it not just as a data analyst, but in the things you do in your office day to day, especially if you're working with a lot of data. So a sample case, we want to build a simple payroll for a company and we'll build the formats together and we'll get to it. So let's start. We want to record the employees, their serial number. Just want to give them a serial number. Then let's give a, so let's have a staff ID. And then we have their names. And then we have a basic salary. And we also have some allowances. So let's say we have housing allowance, transports. So for those that are into HRO and have financial background, please, I know you would direct us further on what are some professional things we should do, but this is just a dummy data. So we'll just make some observations, but we'll not follow all the rules as it is. But this is just a guide to building. In working in your particular environment, there are some additions, but this same um, format applies. So let's call this will be monthly uh, gross pay. So we'll write some definitions up here that will help us in building this. So number one formula we'll need to agree on is, I'm clicking this to add more cell. I don't want to open Microsoft Word and begin to type. So I'll just type everything here. That's this first part where we have the monthly gross pay. The formula for monthly gross pay is equal to the basic salary plus the housing allowance plus the transport allowance plus other allowances. So this is formula number 1 that we'll be working with today. So the formula for this will be equal to all of this. So let's start. Let's give this employee ID number 1, employee ID number 2. Let's say this company, they want us to build employee application for 20 staff. And let's take key names. So we take Ekene, Michael. We take Adamu, Musa. We take Olamide, Jide. We take Okonkwo, okay, let's say Kingsley. We'll just take 5 persons, then we'll go with it. And you can include higher dates. Okay, let me add Omole's name. Omole, we can take Omole Oluwafemi. Okay, since this is a payroll, we can allow the higher dates data to be with the HRO department. Not that, yes, it's correct, but just so that we can go with simple data sets we can work with. Okay, so that's, now this person's basic salary, we're looking, this is monthly now, this is a monthly discussion. So let's say this person's monthly salary is 100K, and this person's salary is 89,000, and this one is 120,000. This one is 50,000, and this one is 77,000. This one is 210,000. This one is 500,000. And want to make one very low. This one is 180,000. Okay, so to format this into currency, if we click here and we right click, you will see format cell. So always in Excel, you can format it to the format you want. So in format cell, you can choose any of these formats. In this case, we're working with money, so we click currency, and we can make it 2 decimal places. You can scroll down and then you look for NGN, which is Nigeria, and you change to Nigerian currency. So if we use any of this, okay, so we can decide to use this. So this is the currency, it's formatted. Now let's calculate the allowance. So another formula again we want to include in our design. We'll do the formatting and the coloring later. And I'm writing this formula so if you can always reference them. Allowance is equal to, okay, housing allowance, let's say, is equal to 20% of basic. Yes, we're just using dummy figures. Then transport allowance is equal to, let's say, 15% of basic. So what we have here is Oluwafemi, thank you. So what we have here, housing allowance. Now housing allowance is 20% of basic, so we can do equal to 20% multiplied by this, and if we press enter to give us 36. So let me do it again. Okay, I need to zoom in so we'll be together on the same page. Sorry, I think it's better now. Okay, so I take this again. I like big salary. Ekene, your salary is 180 now. That's okay. Okay, so the housing allowance we said the formula for housing is 20% of basic. So this is equal to 20%. We multiply it by the basic. Remember, the cell name is shown here is C8. So if we press enter, it gives us 36,000. Instead of doing for everybody, we can come to this point and just scroll down. Automatically, it will populate for everybody. And since we are building this as a software, we can populate down to the last one. So we have automated, meaning anything you type here, it will take effect for everybody. Okay, so each of them are we doing samples. So if we come down here and let's say, let's add, who again wants a big salary? Let's see somebody from the group. Okay, we have Austin. So Austin Anthony. So if we automatically give Austin Anthony a salary of 680, the system will begin to calculate everything for us. So check this housing, it will calculate it automatically. So that's the benefit of automating. You can do this and use it in your business or in the system where you work. It will work very well for a simple SME. So the transport allowance is 15%. So you can guess 15% multiplied by the basic salary, and we press enter. So if we drag this down also up to the 20th person, we have this. When you have this hash symbol, it's not an error. It just means you need to increase the width of the cell. So if you increase the width of the cell, the calculation will be up. Then others, let's say others will not do any calculation. Some persons in some organizations, let's say maybe the person worked extra hours, or the person went for a particular conference, or the person won an award, others. So let's just put random figures. Let's put 50,000 here. This one will put 0. This one will put okay, this one let's put 120,000. This one will put 0. This one will put 12,000. This one will put 50,000, and this one will put 60,000. So format this also to currency. Okay, you can pick anyone. Okay. So now remember the formula. So this is formula number 1, formula number 2, formula number 3. So if we come to this point, now the gross pay is equal to the sum of all this. So we can come here and remember the sum function we talked about, equal to the sum of this to this. And if we close it, we press enter. That means this person's total is 293. And if we go from here, we drag all the way down, we have this. So you can see the basic salary and the monthly gross pay. We can begin to format this a little. So let's start doing some formatting before we do the final parts. Let's bring out a little beauty in our work. So format this. Let's say we want to take the headers, this part that have calculations. Let's call them. When I'm building softwares like this part I don't want anybody to change. I give them specific colors. So when sending the manual to the clients, I let them know that the parts that have colors, nobody should touch them by any means. Okay, I'm just picking colors here. Let's use this and this section. Let's pick another color. Okay, we can pick this. Then we can go all this way up. You can separate the color if you want. And I can use blue and I can increase it. Okay, so we have it designed this way. I want to insert 2 more columns. So we want to call all of these allowances. So we'll go to home. We can merge this and center and say allowances. Oh, okay. So I just saw something now. So we can call this merge, and we can call this allowances, and we put it in the middle. And bold this and just give it a mild color. Okay, so we can say this allowance basic is 20%, housing is 20%, and transport is 15%. So I want to update our design a little. Now, why we're making this on 20% is, assuming this is a software I sold and I designed and I sold, when there is a change, maybe due to government policy or anything, and this percentage, they change this percentage from 20 to 21 or 19, they need to call back the software for me to edit it. But I can make the software such that they can edit it anytime. They can edit it anytime. So in that case, instead of coming inside here to type 20% of this, I can reference this 20%. So permit me to redo this. So I click inside this cell and I type equal to 20% multiplied by 180. In this case, it is automated. So the new formula here is going with the 20% that we have there. Oh, so it now generates an if error. Today we're not doing if error, so let me stop it. We'll continue with this. Permit me, I'll work on that if error. So let's continue with the way it was. I'll Control Z. So we're using the direct formula. We can use if error to say if it is error, keep it at 0 instead of saying no value. Okay, quickly, we have this one. Now let's work on the deductions. So the deductions want to start with let's just do, let's say employee pension. So let's have here employee pension, and we can have another one called NHF, National Housing Fund. I think there's something like that, and then we can have pay as you earn tax, and then we can have total deduction. Total deduction. Okay, so interestingly, this is taking the shape of a table, so I can Control A. I can select this as a table, and I go to insert and I convert this to a table. Your table has headers, yes. So I click OK. So this comes in form of a table. So everything will be automated from this point. So the correction I wanted to do here, I'll see how we can run it here. So let's take, for example, that the pension, presently it's 8% of. So let's say the pension is equal to 8%. I think pension is around 8% of basic housing and transport. But so that we don't make it very complicated, so just say 8% of basic, or let's remove basic. Let's work with something else. Let's work with the 3 of basic, housing, and transport, while the NHF is 2.5% of basic. You can use absolute reference in the allowances. Oh, thank you very much. Okay, so somebody said, Mr. Austin, yeah. Let me reference what Mr. Austin just said. Mr. Austin, thank you for drawing my attention to this. Mr. Austin said you can use absolute reference. Okay, so we'll apply that in this section, and we can just put payee as 7%. 7% of this is not correct. To pay is normally 7% of the way they calculate taxable income is 7% of, they'll do there's one calculation, your gross income minus your tax relief. But let's leave all those and let's just say is 7% of your monthly gross pay. It's just because we want to play with formulas. Monthly gross pay. Okay, so let's start. We'll go with employee pension. So employee pension is, we said, is 8%, 8%, and NHF is 2.5%, and this one is 7%. Okay, so we just color these ones red. And we'll format this one to the center and call it deductions. And we can pick a color here. Okay, make it bold. Okay, and we take all of this and we do this. So now we said the employee pension is 8% of basic plus housing plus transport. So we can say equal to 8%, and let's see that absolute reference. Absolute reference, you just press F4. So in your keyboard, there's an online class I did like this, and people had issues with absolute reference. Absolute reference in some keyboard, you press Windows F4, or you press function F4, or you just press F4. The idea is it brings out this dollar sign in your calculation. So absolute reference is we click this one and then I press F4. So I have the dollar sign multiplied by, now the items, we need to put them in a bracket because you have 3 items that you need to add. So this is where this becomes a little interesting. That's why I brought this up. Can you please tell us what absolute reference means for the purpose of we that don't know? Okay, somebody said, if I can, there's a question. Can you please tell us what absolute reference means for the purpose of we that don't know? Okay, now what absolute reference does is when you're working on a particular cell, like now we're using this 8 for calculation. When I reference, let me give us an example first, please. Just for 1 minute. If I do this multiplied by this, it gives me this answer. Now, why we're having this error in value, meaning as we go down, if I move from this cell to the next one, in this second value, this cell will also move down by 1, this one will move down by 1. When it comes to this third one, this cell will move down. It now comes to this point. So if I click here, you will see that the cell is in H10. If you can see my screen here, is in H10. That means this number here will be moving as this number is also moving. Absolute reference means this particular cell should not move. Always the reference should be on this particular point. That's what absolute reference does. So if we try it again, we say equal to this, and then we do absolute reference. Multiply by, we open the brackets. We said is equal to basic plus housing plus transport. So we do basic plus housing plus transport. Then we close the brackets and we press enter. Now that we have done absolute reference, you see that error is no more there. So Mr. Austin Bayen, thank you very much for drawing our attention to that and making that very good correction. So we have calculated pension contribution for everybody in the team. Okay. So let's be sure basic salary plus housing plus transport gives us 19. So let me come out here and then do a test run on this. This multiplied by this plus this plus this, and I close the brackets, enter. 9612, 9612. Okay, so it's correct. This column is very okay. So we take the next column, which is the NHF. This one is 2.5% of the basic. So this is equal to, call on this one, we press the absolute reference. Absolute reference multiplied by the basic is basic salary, and we press enter. So we'll expand this. Remember, I told us this is not an error. So it gives us this one also. Very good. Then we say the payee is 7% of the monthly gross pay. That's 7% of this. So this is equal to payee, and if we do absolute reference multiplied by monthly gross pay, enter. So this gives us this. So the beauty of having the figures here is, in case this pension reduces to 7.3, all the numbers will be automated. We'll adjust accordingly. So we have these three. Decline, they're not supposed to type into this. So let's just color code this. We can use this. Okay, so that brings us to total deduction. So total deduction will be the sum of these three numbers. So this is equal to sum of these three. And we close the bracket and we press enter. Remember to format it to currency. And we'll click on OK. So if you check what we have now, we have this. Okay, this is also a close field that they should not edit, and I'll make it the same. The field that we don't want them to edit, we can make it a little darker. Okay, so total deductions, and this leads up to the final part, which is, okay, so what is the monthly net pay? So the monthly net pay is simply the formula for the monthly net pay. So now have the monthly net pay. That's more like the take home. So the take home for each person, monthly net pay. So the formula for the monthly net pay will be the monthly gross pay minus the total deduction. Okay, so this is equal to monthly gross pay minus total deduction. And here we are. This is the salary for the persons working in the company. We can also give this a table outline. And just to end this, the owner, so how much is the total salary that will be paid? The total salary that will be paid for the month. We create this additional column. So we'll make it bold and bold. This can be, can use green and white. Okay, the green there is not too, so let's maintain blue, and we can align it to the right. So the monthly here will be, as you can guess, the sum of everybody's pay here. So for this particular month, this is what the owner of the business needs to send to the bank: 2,285,299 and 5. I think that's about 5 kobo or so. Okay, so with this, you can see that what we have done today, we have been able to cover a basic introduction to Excel. If you look at all the things we did, we started with basic formulas and functions, and we designed this simple payroll software. Okay, so thank you very much. I will pause at this point to take our questions, and we can close for today. Remember, you can always watch this video. You can always rewatch this video. Come back to YouTube, and you'll get the full video. It's recorded, and it's there. Okay, please, your questions. Let's go on discussions now. Okay, questions, questions, questions. Yes, your questions. I want, so I learned so much. Okay, Chema said, I learned so much in 1 hour. Chema, thank you very, thank you, thank you, thank you, Chema, for this. Thank you, Chema. Needed to rewatch because I missed some parts. Okay. Uh, Next time, I thank you so much. Just wanted to be sure I can watch the video again. Yes, you can watch the video again. You can always watch the videos again. Okay, so what's there are different ways to help grow this channel. Please, you can always screen grab, like as the class is on now. I think that's what I can request faithfully from everybody. Please, can you just screen grab the class, maybe your interface, your laptop, and then go to any social media, just say anything about the class. If the class was interesting, you can just make 1 or 2 good comments about the class. At least that is one of the ways you can encourage me to build more content like this, more videos. So please remember, share it with your colleagues, make comments, tag me, and I will always respond. And as many questions you have also asked them, I will respond also. Now, what you will do is on Saturday, on Sunday, sorry, that's today is Friday. So on Sunday, I'm having another class, but this one is a general class, it's an open class for anybody can attend. And I'll be working on how to work on a sales dashboard. So you can also come into that class, invite people. It's by 7 p.m. and it will hold on this same platform. The invitation is on. Please and please, my request for now, if there's anything, if you feel like doing anything for me, more of a way of contributing or promoting this idea, is to just share. I'm not asking for anything. That share this, screen grab and make a comment, tag me. You learned one thing on your Facebook, on your Instagram, on your WhatsApp, on your TikTok, other platforms. Just screen grab and share. We'll end in the next 2 minutes. Comfort said the class was interesting. Please, can the video be clear after now? It's looking blurred. Yes, the video is on YouTube. Just change your, some persons when they're on YouTube, they set their videos to, is it 360? When your video is set to 360, the video quality is poor. So there's a button on YouTube where you say watch with high quality. It will increase the visual. I'm recording on 720 and it's very clear. You can play on TV. So please just make that adjustment. Thank you, sir. Is there any way we can hide the zeros on the cells that does not have names? Yes, we can hide that. We can use an if statement to say equal to blank. The class is on awesome, simplified learning. So thank you very much for this feedback. I look forward to seeing our posts on different social media. I want to follow us. I want to see the tags and I want to respond accordingly. Once again, thank you very much. And any more questions before we end for today? Mr. Austin, thank you very much for that correction. I really appreciate. Any more questions, please? Okay, so how I got proficient. Somebody said, Ekene said, how did you get proficient in the use of Excel? It's practice. When it comes to tech, practice is higher than learning. Like what we have learned today, if you don't practice it, I tell you the truth, it will not make any use. It's all around in tech. What we have learned today, look forward to practice it. Maybe when you get to the office, maybe on Monday, or you own a shop, or you own a business, tomorrow, see if you can make some documentations. Then practice what we have done. Try and go through the video and see how you can build it. That's a good way to develop. Is there a template we should use? We started with a blank Excel sheet. So the blank Excel sheet, that's what I'll suggest. But this work we built together now, I will drop it in the description below, and I'll also drop it for those in the WhatsApp group. I'll drop it there. For those in the Facebook group, I'll also drop it there. Thank you for an interesting class. I really appreciate. Okay, thank you very much, Carlos. Carlos, thank you. So on this note, I want to say thank you, everybody. You can drop your comments later, and I will respond to them. Good night, and have a very good weekend.